What was the highest waste of money that you don't regret? My first paycheck, I bought a $900 wedding cake. Me and my brother had no way to get it home since it didn't fit on our skateboards. We just had a cake fight in the parking lot. My brother passed away shortly after that. I still think about that day whenever I'm sad. Edit, for everyone asking, I worked as a window cleaner. It rappelled down the side of 30-plus story buildings. That memory alone is worth more than $900. I got into a stupid fight with my brother, so I found a game he had pledged on Kickstarter, Space Haven, and saw that for $360 I could write a pre-made character bio that would randomly show up. So I pledged it and wrote a character bio with his name and made him a flaming asshole. I have never played this game and don't want to. Has he got the game yet? It's in alpha. Not sure that backer perk has been implemented. I do have to say though, being drunk, angry and having access to a credit card has been how the majority of my poor decision stories start. I would love to hear more drink with a credit card bad choice stories. I've never had that opportunity to be drunk, petty, and flush at the same time. My brother has a low tolerance for substances and really bad allergies. He got gorked on Benadryl or something and bought a bunch of swords and crappy fancy knives off some home shopping network show at 4 a.m. His wife made him switch to non-drowsy. Edit, I am pleased so many people thrilled to the word gork as I did. I first heard it 15 years ago from a vet when I brought my very high, very purry cat home and it always stuck with me. I heard it again 2 months ago same cat high on painkillers at the vet. I merely pass it along. And now it is yours as well. Use it faithfully on intoxicated felines and lightweight wannabe LARPers everywhere. A business class ticket on a 14-hour flight. I ate great food and slept like a boss. Made a huge difference to my trip as I didn't need to waste a day to recover. We needed to reschedule the last flight we took, and the only way to sit together, 2 kids, 2 adults, was upgrade to Economy Plus. It was about $1.20 seat, and I told my wife we're never flying regular economy again. Even on a 2 to 3 hour flight, that extra legroom is so nice. I felt very cheated the first time I went to Economy Plus, over the fall traveling for work, election stuff. I flew American, a few hour flight, paid an extra $33 for the extra legroom. And literally couldn't tell the difference. It was an extra inch at most, the seat was the same width, I knew that because the aisle was the same width, no snacks because of COVID. Real waste of money. I'll just spend that on a bag of the white Toblerones in the airport and continue to quietly suffer in coach. Use SeatGuru.com. You will be able to see exactly the seat you're getting for your money. There are huge disparities between the seats you get, even comparing business class seats to other business class seats. Edit. Oh, and if you're flying to Asia, please for the love of God use an Asian airline. They are so much better. In general, Asian carriers, European carriers as based carriers. Absolutely check SeatGuru. I'm not exactly sure if it's the Airbus 320 or 321, but one of those usually has no seats 10A and 10F. That makes 11A and F the absolute best seats in economy single aisle. I paid $30 extra for the seat New York, Las Vegas once. I'm amused that you fly so often that you know this kind of stuff and the notation used to describe it. People are so diverse. As a former frequent flyer of Delta for work, these kinds of insights are not trivial for people that have to fly 2 or more times a week. For me, it got to the point that when looking at flights, I knew exactly which plane on a route and time would have a seat configuration that would not only get me the most legroom but also get me off that sucker as fast as possible. For example, Delta's Boeing 757 has 6 different configurations, and if I can find the 757 to 275s going my way, you bet your ass I'm going to book that plane and hope for a first-class upgrade, domestic flight with a full lie-flat seat. I've been a fat guy all my life. Like, really fat. Dressing comfortably was always my preference because being stylish just isn't an option at my size. This was always a source of anxiety at any social event that required dressing up. When I realized I had 4 weddings of close friends all coming up within the year, I decided to bite the bullet and get some decent formal clothes. I spent $800 on a suit jacket, $250 on 2 pairs of dress pants, a little over $300 for 3 shirts and 3 silk ties that were between $70 and $100 each. I stood for all my measurements and had everything tailored to my exact specifications. Did a fitting and had a second round of alterations on the pants so they actually looked decent, even though I wore them under my gut. People were floored when I showed up to the first wedding. I received so many compliments and actual double takes. Being introduced to new people felt completely different. I felt impressive. Some of those weddings were the best times of my life, and it was due, in no small part, to how those clothes looked and made me feel. Some of those friends have big pictures from their weddings hanging on their walls, and I don't cringe in embarrassment when I see myself in them. Those clothes cost more than I had ever spent on clothing in any 10-year period, and they were worth every penny. Being a big guy myself, I've thought about doing this, but I've always been too cheap. Now I want to do it. Thank you for sharing. 600 for an hour of laps, 3 of 20 minutes each around the Nürburgring in Germany. It was open in the off-season and there wasn't a single other car near me the whole time. 1010 One of the most thrilling experiences of my life. Edit, I rented a car at the track, which is why it was so much. You can bring your own car or rent one there, but they don't allow commercial rental cars. Individual laps were I think 20 each at the time. I'm buying this for my so for our honeymoon when we get married, and I'm so excited to see his reaction. Don't forget to get special ring insurance. It's crippling to pay if you hit any Armco. Remember too that your car insurance will almost undoubtedly exclude one-way circular toll roads, i.e. the Nürburgring, so be very, very careful. Thank you. Has the ultimate car enthusiast, and I'm not doing this as a surprise, so we will be doing tons of research together before going. If he hasn't done a lot of track days, get him a 3-day race school first. The ring is not a learning track. We had plans to do a course for the both of us in Vegas last September, but restrictions got it our way, so we'll be rescheduling when we can. But he has some track experience already. The course was mostly for me, haha. The summer after graduating high school, I won a decent amount of money playing online poker. Since I wasn't going off to college and all of my friends were, I decided to buy them all ridiculous going away gifts. A carpet, mailbox, toilet seat, etc. were among the gifts. The most expensive and ridiculous gift I bought on a whim was a massive wheel of cheese, somewhere between $200 to $300. Little did I know at the time, that cheese wheel would set off a yearly event called Cheesegiving, where our entire, much larger now with spouses and kids, friend group gets together to celebrate and partake in cheesy goodness. This year was our 17th, unfortunately all virtual due to COVID, and I genuinely hope it never ends. Spending hundreds of euros on broken musical instruments because they were pretty. I have since bought spare parts and started repairing them. I found my destiny. What do you plan to do with them? Some of them I will sell, some I will keep. Currently I own 4 reed organs, 2 electronic organs, an Indian harmonium and a sitar, and these are only the ones that needed repair. Currently I plan to keep one of the reed organs, the sitar and the Indian harmonium, because I love to play those the most and they're hard to get for a reasonable price. Since reed organs are dying out and don't get much love anymore, I took it upon myself to save as many as possible and give them into good hands, where they are actually appreciated. And the repair process is just so much fun. Not so sure about the electronic organ. Don't know what's wrong with it, and I have too much stuff on my hands to figure it out. I will try a few things. If they don't work I might just throw it out. Electronic organs are incredibly common and I can easily get another one for free if I ask the right people. Friend spent $30 on a jukebox to play I Whip My Hair back and forth on loop for an hour in a bar. The bartender unplugged the machine. I had a friend do something similar, except it was Yellow Submarine by the Beatles. People were getting super pissed. A friend of mine did the same thing but with Revolution No. 9 on repeat, which is just super weird and trippy and really long, but not exactly music. The owner unplugged the machine and plugged it back in, causing it to completely restart from the beginning. What jukebox has Revolution No. 9 even available to play? A lot of new ones are essentially just fancy pay-per-song Spotify machines. They just stream the music off the internet, so the selection is way bigger than it used to be. The extra I pay in rent for a water view completely worth it. I got a discount for overlooking a graveyard, loved it. You can get a discount for that. I'm right behind a graveyard, next to an airport, and have train tracks in my backyard. I should have asked the landlord to knock some dollar off. Lol edit. It's my first apartment, don't ask me why I didn't realize any of this stuff ahead of time. They offered it, so I happily accepted. It was a complex under construction at the time. Apparently some people didn't like overlooking graves. I just considered myself lucky. It was a very expensive apartment for me at the time. If the price is good, you can put me right in the middle of a graveyard lamau. 2K a year. You just have to dig yourself a grave though.